Let me start by saying that I'm not a football fan. Though in my country, Nigeria, a man is expected to be a football fanatic, I've never really found football or sports in general interesting enough for me to be an enthusiast. So, my thoughts in this video are based on the things people are saying online about Victor Osimhen. And as far as the claims and comparisons they've made, I cannot verify them, but I urge you do your research. And if I make any mistakes or get any facts wrong, please let me know in the comments. So, Victor Osimhen is in the news. If you don't know him, he is a Nigerian footballer playing for Napoli. He recently scored his 100th career goal, and from what I understand, he achieved this milestone quicker than Ronaldo and Messi. If he continues on this trajectory, he may become one of the GOATs of football someday. However, Nigerians have begun to complain that it seems Victor Osimhen is not being given his due recognition by football authorities. Some have argued that given his very impressive performance so far, it should be considered for Ballon d'Or, an award I can best describe as the Grammy or Oscars for football. They argue that the reason for this seeming discrimination is because Victor Osimhen is a black man. Though I'm by no means a football expert, I do know that there have been numerous cases of black footballers experiencing racism in Europe. And given this, it is not totally out of place that Victor Osimhen might be experiencing some form of racism. Perhaps if he were white, it could have been considered for Ballon d'Or. Before I share my thoughts, I urge that you kindly subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. I know this is my first video and it may seem like I'm asking a lot from you. My objective for this channel is to bring some nuance to commentary. You will not always agree with me, and that's okay. I don't have any political agenda or anything like that. I'm just a bloke trying to make sense of the world. So thank you for subscribing. So back to the video. What I want to do in this video is to provide an explanation that is different from the usual racist reading of the black experience in Europe. I do believe that racism and discrimination are part of the human condition, and no race or culture is immune from them. Throughout history, cultures have conquered and subjugated other cultures. And also, from an evolutionary perspective, it made sense for our ancestors to be wary of other people who did not look like them or speak their language, because resources were very scarce. Of course, this is 2023 and we should know better not to be racist. We should be better than our ancestors. It would be great to live in a world where one's skin color does not limit how far they can go. I believe that as long as Africans continue to migrate to Europe in search of a better life, it's almost impossible not to face some form of discrimination, even in the most liberal and welcoming countries. But one thing that is often not spoken of is how the bad economic and political conditions in Africa have continued to contribute to the stereotype of the black man being an inferior race. These socioeconomic conditions have led to an influx of African immigrants to Europe for many decades. In a Pew Research article published in 2018, over 1 million Africans were estimated to have moved to Europe since 2010. That's a lot. Many Africans have died in the Sahara Desert and the Mediterranean Sea, and many have continued to risk life and limb because they want to escape poverty and bad governance in their countries. Again, it would be ideal to live in a world where one's skin color wouldn't limit them. But let's keep it real. When you have an influx of African immigrants, it's hard for Europeans not to look down on them. Of course, there are Africans who are making strides in academia, sports, and other fields of human endeavor in Europe, and that ordinarily should dispel whatever negative stereotypes come with being black. But unfortunately, there will always be people who will choose to represent an entire group with the worst examples among them. In addition, Africa has continuously received aid from the EU and other donors annually. Though well intentioned, this aid also play a part in painting Africa as a poor continent. A lot of campaign has been done to end racism, but it seems it's not enough. So what can be done to change the stereotype of the black race as inferior? I answered a question on Quora sometime last year in which I argued that the only way for Africa to be respected is for us to create wealth on the continent. The onus is on individual African nations to build inclusive economies for everyone to thrive. We need good governance and strong institutions. We need policies that work, and we need to put an end to ethno-religious bigotry on the continent. When Africa becomes rich, it fixes a lot of our problems. Young people would no longer see the need to migrate en masse in search of a better life for themselves and their families when they can build wealth at home. We need to build wealth to the extent we no longer have to depend on anyone to give us aid or an opportunity to make a decent living. But as long as the poor economic conditions at home push us to migrate, we'll have to contend with discrimination abroad. That will be all for this video. Kindly subscribe to my channel. If you disagree with me on anything that I said, I would love to hear your points. Drop your comments below. Check the description for links to my socials. I'll see you guys in the next one.